I'm Aaron Graber with Ventrac, and in this video, we're going to highlight every piece of snow removal equipment that we make. What you see behind me is a representation of everything available for the SSV and the 4520. Let's dig into it. So we're going to start with the 4520 that has a cab installed and has a few different options for snow removal. Of course, this is our flagship model. This is our flagship tractor. This is what a lot of customers use on a bunch of different types of properties. As some of you might know, we also use our tractors in the summertime with various attachments, or in the spring and fall as well. And putting a cab on really transforms the 4520 into a pure winter machine. So this cab is fully sealed and it is heated from the engine of the tractor. So we use liquid cooled engines, and then we pipe that coolant into the headliner of the cab, and that's what creates the heat. So it's very hot heat, very comfortable in even the most northern climates. On the back of this machine is our stainless steel drop spreader, and you have wireless control from the inside of the cab for it. So the operator can do everything from the working end of the front to the pre-treatment or post-treatment end of the back of the machine without ever leaving the comfort of the heated cab. This particular attachment that we'll talk about is our KX snowblower. This is a 48-inch snowblower. We also do this in a 52-inch, and the reason we have two different options so close in size is that this whole machine is designed to work on a 48-inch sidewalk. You'll see on this snowblower we have a dual auger kit that pulls in snow from really high depths. You also have operator-controlled discharge chute, so you can change the pitch and the angle of this. It allows you to be able to throw the snow very far or very precisely, whichever your preference might be. So the snowblower covers everything in the nastiest of conditions. And the next attachment we're going to talk about is the other end of the spectrum. Everything from a light dusting to a couple inches of snowfall, and that's our powered broom. This is our power broom. The broom is the most popular snow attachment that we sell for the 4520. The reason it's the most popular is because it is the most useful across a broad range of conditions. You can drop this broom into an inch or less of snow and go basically full speed. In that 4 to 6 inch range of normal snow with kind of medium wetness to it, it still does a fantastic job of clearing at speed and getting down to bare pavement. This broom angles left and right and has speed control of the drum itself. But it's also directionally variable, which means you can fully reverse the direction of those bristles. That's helpful when you're going right up to doorways or entryways and pulling snow back, and it saves time using hand labor or shovels to clear out those really fine, intricate areas. Next, we'll go to another versatile attachment that we have, which is our V-blade. This next attachment is all about speed and control, and that is the V-blade. What you see here is our V-blade with optional 6-inch extensions on both the left and right side. That just makes it a little bit wider, a little bit more capable in clearing a wider area. Without those extensions, the V-blade narrows to within that 48-inch footprint for the tractor. So again, we're coming back to that 48-inch theme. We have the ability to start at 48 inches and then scale from there. The V-blade is also available, like many of our blades, with a poly edge kit, and that allows you to work on more delicate areas. Your drive control levers back here are the same levers that control your auxiliary hydraulics, and that will allow you to angle the sides of this broom. You can have the broom fully angled left, right, in a V, or in a reverse V that's like a scoop. The V-blade also has the ability to trip the whole front structure, so there's a pin that goes in here, and when you pull that pin out, that whole part of the front blade trips forward without losing too much momentum. After the V-blade, we'll step sideways and highlight a simpler and similarly effective straight blade. Here we are with one of our straight blades. So what you'll see on the front of this tractor is a 60-inch straight blade. We also do this blade in 48 and 72, so we give you a bunch of different options in terms of width. Continuing on the theme of new things to talk about with the machine, this one is a little bit out of the ordinary. We have duals on this tractor, and there's no reason to run duals in snow removal, so it is kind of a silly configuration. The only reason it's here is because we just had to get a bunch of tractors out to highlight all this stuff. But it is a great time to throw a small plug in for the versatility of this machine off-season. Most of our snow removal operators also use this machine in the spring and summer as well. So the dual wheels are because this is an incredible mower, and we have a ton of different mower decks and various other attachments as well. And so that's why you see this machine set up this way. It also has the options of the removable side wings here. These are not standard. This is not something that you would necessarily want to run all the time, but it is an option that we offer because it does add some versatility to these blades. Just like the V-blade, the straight blade also has the option of using poly edges so that you can work on delicate surfaces without doing any damage. Talking about straight blades and working in wider areas is the perfect segue to the next attachment we want to highlight, because it's the most recent addition to our winter line, and it's focused purely on doing as much area as possible. That's the box plow. Here we are at our final attachment to showcase, and that is the box plow. Of course, one more thing to talk about. It's getting sillier and sillier here. There's really no reason you would ever run a canopy on a tractor in snow removal, but it's installed on this one. Again, it's another highlight of using this in the off season, and it's a fantastic option if you are working when it's hot like it is today. So let's talk about the box plow though. This is the gigantic, more productive big brother to the straight blade with extensions. This is a 72-inch plow. That is the only width option that we do currently, and it moves a lot of snow. That's really what there is to say about this thing. We have skid shoes on the side that are adjustable to help it glide over obstacles, but the most important thing about using this thing at speed is the trip edge. You can see down here in the front, this black piece is a hardened steel cutting edge, and just that piece will trip, so that if you hit an obstruction at speed, it allows the plow to glide over that without losing everything that's contained within it, because the whole plow doesn't trip forward. Two additional options we have for this box plow. First are the poly edge kit, which is essentially the same thing as the other blades. It allows you to work on more delicate surfaces. And second, we have a turf edge kit. The turf edge kit is a kit that bolts on to the bottom of the plow on the sides and the bottom cutting edge, that is more rounded and allows this plow to glide over synthetic turf or natural turf. The first place that that's being done is on synthetic sports fields. Typically it's lacrosse in the Northeast, but there are some other sports that are played on those fields as well that want to start before winter is really over, or if you get late spring snows, and they have to remove that snow from the turf before you can actually use the field. You want to be removing that snow, but also not doing damage to the turf underneath, whether it's real or artificial. But using our tractor and the turf edge kit on the box plow allows that to be a possibility. So it can be part of your greater snow fleet and allow more versatility late into the spring. We just talked about the 4520, and now we're going to highlight the SSV and all of the options that we have for that machine. We're here at the first SSV example. You can see we've got a snowblower on the front of the machine, and we've actually got an operator windscreen on it as well. We have a brine kit. The only thing that this machine is missing that could also be stacked on top is a salt spreader, but we've got that highlighted on a couple others, so we'll get there a little bit later and talk about that as well. The machine itself is 34 inches wide, and every attachment that we offer for this machine fits on a 36-inch working width. What you see here is the snowblower, and this is a heavy industrial metal construction snowblower that can do a lot of work and do it fast. It's a two-stage snowblower, and you can see the heavy steel flighting in here to power through any chunky snow, even if it's icy and if it's super deep. You also have full control over the discharge with this chute. The brine kit on this machine can be used from the operator station and also in conjunction with the granular. In addition to being able to run nozzles out the back of the machine, you have a separate hand wand. You can be off the machine or standing on the platform and spray individual areas with this. The SSV, just like all the rest of our Ventrac equipment, does have access to multiple attachments and all of the snow removal specific attachments for this machine. We'll start highlighting those next, and we're going to go to the powered broom. Here we are with the powered broom, and this is on a separate SSV machine. It's just a stripped down version with no additional accessories. This broom has an incredible amount of torque because it's a hydraulically powered broom. This broom runs a wafer style setup on the bristles so that those can be easily replaced and stacked in different patterns depending on how aggressive you want to be. It also has a really unique control where you have an electronic actuator that's controlled from the operator station that allows you to change the bristle speed and direction. There's a center pivot on this broom rather than being behind the broom. That way the broom doesn't swing left and right when you angle it, and it keeps it within that working pathway. This is an attachment that you will find in nearly every SSV fleet because it's indispensable for getting down to those delicate surfaces or on those zero tolerance accounts. And it's really the first thing that you're going to use in that snowstorm before it gets too bad and you have to start digging yourself out with blades or blowers. Speaking of blades, the next thing we're going to talk about is the V-blade on the SSV. Here we are with the V-blade, and this is an attachment that bridges the gap. So when it's a little bit too deep for the broom, but it's not quite deep enough yet to use the snowblower, the V-blade is what comes out next. You see this V-blade with an optional extension kit on both the left and right side. That extends it to a couple inches out from the wheel path of the machine. The patented part of this V-blade is that while it trips, it also translates, but just the bottom edge. So the bottom edge, when it hits an obstruction, it trips in, but the difficulty with doing a trip edge V-blade is that it hits itself and it can't fully trip or trip effectively. When this V-blade hits itself, it translates out so that it can continue to trip. So it allows you to maintain the best possible speed and the best possible snow clearing when an event like that happens. The next thing we want to do is look at the simpler attachment, and that is the straight blade on the next machine. Here we are at the next orientation of SSV. So straight blade is just like you would imagine, just a simpler version of a blade option on the SSV. This is a 54-inch that we're showing. We also do a 42-inch option. Just like the other blade and the V-blade, this is fully hydraulically controlled from the operator station using this auxiliary lever. There are options for a poly edge kit, and that's about it. The straight blade is a simple attachment, super effective. Next thing we'll highlight is a unique winter attachment that we use when conditions get really tough, and that is the snow bucket. This is the most unique snow attachment that we have on the SSV, and it's just a simple bucket. Occasionally, you'll get a situation where a storm will happen and let's say a city plow truck goes past a row of mailboxes and they've got their plow down, they just shove everything right off the road and it splashes all the way over, closes up that area, and that's where the bucket comes in. I can pull off any one of these attachments and switch to this bucket in less than a minute. Have it working, clear that area, get done with it, throw it back on the trailer or in the storage unit, and continue working with all of my normal attachments. And the next and final machine that we want to highlight in the range is all about something totally different. It's still snow removal, but we're not actually pushing any snow. So let's talk about salt spreaders. Here we are with the most valuable setup of a Ventrac SSV, and it has nothing to do with pushing snow out of the way. So this machine in this configuration is all about dropping granular salt. This stainless drop spreader is the exact same drop spreader that we run on the back of our 4520 tractor, except now we've got it on the front of an SSV. We have an adapter kit here. It's these wheels and this frame that allows this drop spreader to sit here and be used on the front of the SSV, and that really lets us use the SSV for the furthest possible distance and the most amount of bulk material. So follow me here on the math. You can use this drop spreader with 200 pounds of rock salt in it. You can fill the slide out drop spreader on the SSV with 100 pounds, and then you can put another 200 pounds of bagged salt inside this carry-all and have all of that capacity available to you to go out on a site and work non-stop. This drop spreader drops in a 40-inch drop pattern, so you can go on a little bit wider sidewalks as well, but it keeps that rock salt contained within the sidewalk and not doing any damage to turf or landscaping on the outside of it. The drop spreader that is in the middle of the SSV in between the wheels drops in a 34-inch pattern. When you're standing on this machine, you have full control of those spreaders with the electronic controls up here for the drop spreader underneath and the wireless control here for the front drop spreader. Again, just like everything else, this spreader comes off the machine in seconds, and I can take this exact same piece, and remember, I've still got the spreader in between the wheels, and I can switch to any one of these high capacity attachments. I can go do the snow removal once the snow starts to fly, and I still have capacity available for dropping granular while I do that. Super awesome piece, turns this thing into the best salt applicator that exists in the marketplace, and really rounds out the SSV fleet of equipment. There it is, the whole overview of all of the snow removal equipment that we offer here at Ventrac. As you can see, it's a lot of stuff. No matter whether you're a small operator that does a little bit of snow removal occasionally, if you're in a transitional geography, or if you're a full-time snow operator and you do nothing else, there's a place for Ventrac equipment in that fleet, and it does a phenomenal job when you apply it. We know that you have tons of different options out there in the marketplace, and we love showcasing our equipment and how good it can be in your operation. We have a dedicated team of professionals here that produce content and answer questions about this stuff all day, every day. If you have any questions whatsoever, be sure to ask them in the comments below or email us, reach out to us directly. We'll do anything we can to set you on the right path, learning about what we can do and how we can help your operation. Also, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, follow us on the rest of the social media platforms, and visit our website at ventrac.com. One last thing you can do on any of this stuff, you can search for more videos and find more in-depth looks at exactly how it works, all the different adjustments we make, available options. Deep dives on all of this equipment is available on our channel. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.